having good gut health isn't going to stop you from getting COVID, but if you do get it, you're less likely to get severe symptoms.
But the best part of that answer, by the way, was with the fact that you called me brilliant, because nobody's ever called me brilliant on this channel. So what are the signs of an unhealthy gut?
Not a lot of people like to talk about. I'm certainly not saying you have to share, the type of poops you're having with everyone at the dinner table, but it offers so much important information.
So are you telling us we should be looking at our poop? So gluten. Is gluten sensitivity being exaggerated? Does everything really have to be gluten-free? And does gluten-free mean healthy? Dr. Rossi, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me and my audience about gut health on this episode of On Call with Dr. Dave.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, okay, let's get to it. What is the gut and why should people care about gut health?
This is such an important question because I think a lot of people are hearing this word, like this buzz term, gut health, but what it is exactly is rarely communicated. So gut health relates to the functioning of our entire digestive tract, so the 9-meter long tube that essentially delivers food from entry all the way to exit. So it's 9 meters long, wrapped up in us. And I guess there's really 3 reasons why gut health is so important for absolutely everyone. The first one is, the good old saying, you are what you eat. Well, it's probably not that accurate. It's more you are what you digest. Because no matter how healthy the food you put into your body is, if you don't have a good gut lining, you're not going to be able to extract that nutrition out of the food and therefore that get into your body to feed things like your hair and your skin and your heart. So that's the first one. If you want to get the most out of your food, you need to have good gut health. The second one, which is hugely topical at the moment, is the fact that 70% of our immune system actually lives along that 9-meter digestive tract. So I'm sure we'll go into it. Things like COVID-19 and gut health, there seems to be a very strong link there. So immunity and gut health certainly go hand in hand. But it's really the third element, which I think has brought the fame to this concept of gut health. And that's the fact that we've only, recently appreciated that we all contain trillions of microorganisms, including the bacteria. Now, we can go into depth about that, but it's not just the bacteria that live within us. So this community actually includes things like some viruses, some parasites, and some, fungi like yeast, which historically we thought we should be afraid of, but actually synergistically they work together to look after us. And it's these microorganisms that seem to be able to do things like communicate with our brain, our heart, etc.
Wow, that blows me away. So many things you just said, I can probably speak about for the next hour. But just let me clarify something, because I'm not sure if I misheard you. Did you say that 70% of our immune system is linked to our gut?
Absolutely. So along that 9 meters, 70% of our immune cells live there. So the things like our bacteria and our immune cells are constantly communicating with each other. It's really tight, as well as, of course, the things we're eating is therefore impacting our immune health.
Okay, so what determines, you mentioned we have bacteria. So I'm assuming we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. What determines how much good bacteria we have? And let me just throw this at you. How can we increase or improve the amount of good bacteria we have in our gut?
Yeah, so that is a brilliant question. And the thing when we talk about bacteria is actually, interestingly, very few bacteria are notoriously bad. What we're seeing, it's more about the balance of the bacteria. So, like humans, if we are, sleep deprived, not fed well, then we get a little bit grumpy and we're not very good. We don't do our jobs very efficiently. So that's the same with bacteria. So most of them inherently are good if we look after them. So the concept we see that's really important around gut health is about diversity. So essentially, we want as many different types of those bacteria in our gut because each one actually contains different skills. And we want more skills. So things like, vitamin production, hormone production, all those sorts of things is down to the different bacteria. So as long as we're treating those bacteria with care, which is things like, having plenty of different types of plant-based foods, because like humans, the different bacteria have different taste preferences. Mm-hmm. So to get that diversity of the bacteria in our gut, we need to therefore have a really diverse range of plants in our diet. And that comes from things like the different whole grains out there, your nuts and your seeds, your pulses, your legumes, your beans and your pulses, your fruit, your veg, and even your herbs and your spices all deliver these different plant chemicals, which essentially feed our gut microbes.
Wow, that's an amazing answer. The best part of that answer, by the way, was the fact that you called me brilliant, because nobody's ever called me brilliant on this channel before. So that's the best part of that answer.
Well, I've been looking at what you're doing. A lot of brilliant things are going on your channel.
Thank you. I've never heard, and I read a lot about this stuff incessantly, I've never heard anybody describe gut bacteria as performing different jobs. To me, that's a game changer, because we talk about yogurt and probiotics. And so we don't need just a bunch of the same bacteria, quote unquote, same good bacteria. We really need diversity. So I think that's such an important point, because when we talk about a well-balanced diet, to me, a well-balanced diet is a bunch of nonsense, because it doesn't mean anything. What does well-balanced mean? But when you say to me, you need different bacteria because they have different jobs, now a well-balanced diet makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a key message that has only just started to come out in the research. And it's taken, I think, a while for that research to then translate into, I guess, our evidence-based practice guidelines and things like that. Although historically, we have always known that people who have a more diverse diet seem to be better health. They live longer, they feel better, but we never really understood the mechanisms. And now we do. It's really because essentially they've got a more diverse range of gut bacteria, which is, more skills to look after them.